In this chapter, we'll be creating basically a small icon box. There are almost dozens of ways that you can create this in Divi. I did it one way, then I did it a second way, then I did it a third way. And just before I started this course a few days ago, I decided I want to try it in a complete different way. And that last one is the one I'm going to show you. But you should know there are many ways, and how you can achieve which is this amazing design flexibility will be up to you. On the left, I want an icon, and then I want text on the right. What most Divi users will do is use a module called blurb. That is, I would say, the staple of how Divi came into existence was on the blurb. Before icon boxes and image boxes existed, Divi was the one with the blurb, and people all had to copy that. But with the new features, I find that I use these pre-made modules far less than I used to. I just designed my own, and it makes maintaining it much easier when I need to go back and make changes. Go to the last text module we brought in and click on the plus. Search icon and bring in the icon. I will work with the icon first because this one is going to be straight up. Here is a massive request I have for Divi. I need custom icons. Everyone does custom icons. Gutenberg, WordPress editor, does custom icons. Divi doesn't do it. Divi requires you, if you want to do a custom icon, to bring in an image. That's okay, but I've got so many icons that I want to work with, and it would be nice if I could bring in a custom icon and then I can change the color if I had to. But just in case you want to work with custom icons within Divi, you will need to bring it in either as PNGs or SVGs, but load them as images, and then you will have to activate SVG through a plugin because, again, Divi does not have any function inside to switch on the usage of SVGs within WordPress. It's also something that they can add. I think when I'm done with this course, I'm going to write down everything that I would like, send it on to them. I hope we can see that because half of these things we've been asking in Divi for many, many years. On the icon, go to the right under content and we search for quotation marks. Quotation. Choose this little one over here, and we change the size of the icon by going to Design, Icon, Icon Size, and we put it on 48. So here is a question. Why is the icon centered? Go to Alignment, and then put it to the left. To put text next to the icon, what I did originally is I created columns. And I will tell you that's not the way to go. Stay away from that. There are easier ways to do it. The second thing I did is I actually wrapped the icon and the text module in a new module they brought in called Group, which is a div. But then I was thinking about this new feature called nested elements within icons. And I want to show you how that works. This is an icon module. Yes, no doubt about it. But is it? The answer is it's actually just a wrapper. You see that black box? It's just a container, and inside this container is an icon. And when you start looking at everything in Divi like this, you realize that when you are making a complex little section or you make a composition like we want to do here, you only need to start with one module, one element. Select the icon like we've done here. Go to the right and now go to Content, the first tab. Let's close this and go to Elements. Here it says Add Element. What will happen? Click on Add Element and here we get this again. But remember, we are inside the icon container at this moment. Search for text, then click on the module. And the module text drops below the icon. But as I hover over the icon, the box is also around the text. This means that this text is now housed inside the container of the icon, which makes it a group. They've been grouped together under one setting. And we call this nested. The text element, the text module, is nested within the icon module. It's at this point that you will tell me, but I want the text to be adjacent to the icon, so it's better to use group or columns. But remember, this container isn't really an icon container. It's a flex box. With the icon container selected, click on the icon. Select Design in the options right and go to Layout. Here is the power of Divi's nested elements and layout features. To choose whether this is columns or whether it is stacked rows, you do that with the layout direction. It says here that it is a row, but trust me, this is not right. Click on it. Nothing happens. Click on it again, nothing happens. So let's make a change. Click on column and click back on row. This is a glitch. For some reason, it doesn't work when you just click on the row or when it comes in by default. But the moment you choose any of these and you go back to the row, this will happen. What has happened now is that this container is taking the icon and the text module and it's putting it next to each other. This icon is what, only 48 pixels? So there's a lot of space here and it's being filled with this text box. And with this, you can even go ahead and align the icon. So select the icon, look here at Align Items. Put it in the middle, put it at the bottom, or put it at the top where it started. Nice. If you want to switch it around, you can go to Row Reverse and do it this way around, right? That's what you get with elements like the blurb module. I'll put the row back as the normal row direction, and I'll put it on start, or you can put it on stretch. I'll just go ahead and put it on start. This is the default text that I want to use, my body paragraph text. All I need to do is change out the content. I'll click on the text and I'll paste again lorem ipsum here. And look how quickly we had created that. Yes, it takes some time to understand how it works. Once you know how it works, I have to tell you, I don't even look for modules anymore. I build out everything like this, or I use the group module. I want to do one more of this below it. I'll go ahead and duplicate, and you can change out the text. But before we do that, let's delete this one and go check first how this is going to look on a tablet device. For the moment, ignore this spacing. I'm just looking at this one over here. I think the space here, let's go back to desktop, is a little too much. That gap between the icon and the text module, I want it narrower. Select the icon. Remember, we now use gaps. We don't want to use margins. We stay away from margins as much as possible. Within this container, if we want to apply space between elements, we use the gap function. Under Design, Layout, and this is a horizontal gap. It's set to 30. I will move it down to 18 pixels. That looks much better for me. Go to tablet. That looks good. And on mobile device, looks really good. I don't need to change anything about my text. I already set up the preset and I made it a default earlier. That's why it works nicely. Now we can duplicate it with confidence because we know the two will look good below each other on all of these responsive devices. The last thing I want to change is when we go to tablet, this image can be a little bit smaller and we can give more space to the column on the right. In a way, this is actually a tutorial all by itself, how columns are set up within Divi. First of all, if you go to the row content and elements, you will note that we have these two columns within it. We've talked about it a little earlier before. This is where the columns, the actual columns, are created. To edit the columns and set their sizing, you do it on a column per column basis. The row will decide how it is structured. Is it a row or is it a column, and how does that behave? To change the size, the width of this column, select the column, and I'll do that in the Layers panel on the left. Go to Sizing, and at the bottom of the sizing, it says Column Class. And it's a little bit confusing using this word class. If you don't know where it comes from, it's just column preset. They made a preset for this and it's at a half, which is 50% half of the container. The container is the row. This column takes up half of the space. I want to reduce it. Let's put it on a third. And Divi gives you this nice breakdown of how you can set it up. I'll go and select a third here, and it grows smaller. The second column still only spans half of the container. We have to change that too. Select the second column in the panel on the left for the layers, undersizing, column class, and now we do the opposite of 1/3. We go up and do 2/3. There we go. Let's jump to mobile device. And by default, Divi lets mobile devices stack. So to give you an idea of how this works, we can look at the changes. The moment I select any of the columns, you can see that under column class, it's already put to full width. Divi decided it has to be full width the moment we go to mobile. Go back to desktop. We've created this beautiful About Us section. But more importantly is we covered a lot in terms of the settings and power within Divi. We've learned how to create the presets. We've learned how to make presets of existing presets. We've also learned that you can take a preset and make it a default for the module. But for this one, we've learned how to work with a nested element within a module like the icon. Save our work so we don't lose it and cry crocodile tears later on. And for the next section, we will have to keep our heads together, but it's going to be fun.